everyone, it's Marisa from BumblebeeApothecary.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a delicious tart. So this tart is grain-free, it's perfect for the GAPS diet, but anybody not on GAPS will enjoy it as well. It goes together really quickly, and it's a perfect treat if you want something a little bit festive and special to serve. So this recipe is inspired by one in the Heal Your Gut cookbook. I really like this cookbook. There's a couple things in there that are not correct or accurate with GAPS, but by far everything else is great and has so many beautiful pictures and wonderful recipe ideas, so it's one that I do recommend. To start making this tart, I'm going to begin by making the crust. So depending on the size of tart that you want to make, you're going to need either 1 to 2 cups of soaked nuts. Now you can do this with unsoaked, but I always prefer soaking or fermenting or sprouting nuts before eating them, just because nuts are a seed and seeds don't want to be eaten. They have a lot of anti-nutrients in them that makes them harder to digest, so doing one of those 3 things, soaking, sprouting, or fermenting beforehand, deactivates those anti-nutrients, makes the nutrients more bioavailable, and also makes them easier to digest. So I have a bunch of pecans that I have been fermenting. Fermenting is my favorite of all 3 of those methods because it makes them the most digestible. But if you didn't have time to do anything to your nuts, you can try using this. Like if you want to just make this today and you weren't ready, you can just use raw nuts, but I do recommend when possible preparing them one of those 3 ways first. If you have crispy nuts on hand that you've already soaked or fermented and then maybe dehydrated, those will work perfectly. You can use those too. So I'm going to add the nuts to my food processor. I'm going for about 2 cups of nuts here. And of course you can use less if you have a smaller tin that you want to put your tart in. And then I'm going to add about 2 cups of shredded coconut. So whatever amount of nuts you have, you just add the same amount of shredded coconut. Next I'm going to add a pinch of salt, 2 pinches of salt for this amount. If you're using 1 cup of each, nuts and shredded coconut, you could just do 1 pinch of salt. And then you can either use 5 to 10 dried dates, or you can do like I'm going to do and use date syrup. So it's going to come out to about ½ a cup of date syrup. So I'm just going to eyeball this and drizzle some around in there. Then I'm going to put this on the food processor base, and then I'm going to blend this until it's like a rough paste consistency. And then we're going to put this into our pan. Now if you have a tart pan with like scalloped edges, that's perfect. I don't have anything like this, so I'm just using the springform pan. If you cut this recipe in half and just do 1 cup of nuts and 1 cup of coconut, it should fit like an 8-inch tart pan. And this is bigger. This is like 10-inch, I think. And it's not a tart pan, so. But I'm gonna make it work. So I'm just gonna put all this in here. And then press it in so that it's covering the bottom, and then try to work it into like a little bit of a raised crust that goes up the sides of the pan a little bit. The mixture at the bottom is a lot like Larabar. Or Larabar, how do you pronounce those? Larabar? Larabar? I think it's Larabar. Anyway, it tastes like one of those. Does anybody else never know how to pronounce something, or is that just me? That's a struggle for me, knowing how to pronounce things. I'm not sure why. Okay, that's looking good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just something that's gonna, hold our filling. Oh, and in case anybody wasn't clear, you don't have to dry your nuts before you make this. I put those to ferment in filtered water and whey, kefir whey, last night, and they sat all night. Yesterday evening or afternoon I put them to soak, and then they sat all night, and then today I just drained them and let them sit for a little bit. So they can be dried, dehydrated, or they can be wet, doesn't matter. And then I'm going to move this to the refrigerator and let it sit in the refrigerator for about 30 minutes just so that it can solidify and harden a bit. So while that's in the refrigerator hardening, I'm going to go ahead and prepare my fruit. So any fresh fruit is going to work for this, especially berries. Right now, at the time of this filming, it's January, and so there's not a lot of options as far as what's in season, but since I wanted to do like a special Valentine's Day treat, I went ahead and picked this just for a special occasion. So you can do strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, really anything. Fresh, in season fruit is going to be the best always, but we're just going with what we have at this point for a special occasion. Okay, so I've washed off my berries, and then I'm just going to take them, trim the tops off of them, and then I'm just going to slice them lengthways like this, so that way we'll be able to lay them in a nice layer design in the tart. So I'll just go through and slice all these. And these strawberry tops are going to go to our chickens. They're going to love these for a little tasty treat. Next, we're going to make the cream portion for the tart. So if you were not on GAPS and you wanted to, you could just use whipped cream. So, you know, high quality grass-fed organic whipped cream that's not been cultured. But I'm going to go ahead and use cultured cream. So this is cream that I've cultured with kefir. And just because there's the sweetness from the berries already, the dates in the crust, and then adding kind of the tartness of the cultured cream just adds a really nice dimension to the flavor. It's not going to be super tart because we are adding a bit of raw honey to the cream filling, but if you have the choice, I do recommend the cultured cream option whether you're on or off GAPS, just because I do think that that is the tastiest. So I'm going to put about 3 cups. Again, if your tart is smaller, you can do more like 2 cups. I'm going for about 3 cups of cultured cream. And again, this is kefir cultured cream. There's a number of different ways that you can make cultured cream. I have a video all about that, which I can link down below, and you can check that out if you're interested. Cultured cream is one of my favorite things though, because it has the healthy fats, it's got the probiotics, especially when you make it with something as powerful as kefir, and it's so delicious. You can use it on and in so many different things. It's just amazing so many different ways. And then to this, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of raw honey for every cup of cultured cream that I have. So I'm going to eyeball about 3 tablespoons of raw honey. And then I'm going to take my hand mixer and I'm going to whip this just a bit. You want to be careful to not whip too much because you don't want it to start to thicken and like start to turn into butter or anything, but I just want to whip it to incorporate that honey and then just get a little bit of a lighter, fluffier consistency. Another thing that whipping the cream does, of course, is make it thicker so that it like stays in place instead of running all over. Now we're just going to add the cultured cream layer into the tart. And then we're just going to start arranging the berries. So obviously if you had more than one type of berry, you could do a neat pattern that would incorporate other colors and different things like that. A sprig of mint would be really nice to put on here. I was supposed to get some mint in my produce box, but they forgot to send it anyway. And I definitely don't have any growing out there in the dead of winter right now. But there we have it. This is going to be a really great treat. I thought it would be a really good one to have since this video is going live on Valentine's Day, because a lot of us already have things like crispy nuts and cultured cream already on hand. So it would be very easy to make the same day if we wanted a nice, healthier option for a fun treat for Valentine's Day. So I hope that you guys give it a try, and I hope you like it. If you do, let me know how you did. Check out that description box for links to free ebooks and other goodies. I have information on my membership where there are live Q&As with me, and our private community where we answer questions and bounce ideas off of each other, and it's a really great community. I also have information down there on how I can help you follow the GAPS diet. I have a 30-day meal plan for GAPS and some other things, so check out the description box also for links to places where I like to buy ingredients that I use in my recipes. If you did like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with anybody else who you think would like it, and if you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I get out new videos every week on nourishing recipes and natural living. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time. Bye.